When I think about Westlife, I think about big feelings. Those songs you could play at a wedding, at a breakup, or when you just need something to make you feel alive all over again. They are a band built on tight harmonies, heartfelt lyrics, and an uncanny ability to make simple words feel like the only ones that matter in a room. But they are also a story about friendship, reinvention, and the pressure that comes with being a boy band that grew into something bigger than anyone expected. Let's start at the beginning. Imagine 4 young men from Ireland, voices, dreams, and a hunger to sing. Westlife formed in the late 1990s, and they arrived at a moment when pop was hungry for honest, emotional ballads. It wasn't overnight fame built on a single viral moment. It was steady work, good songs, and an image that readers, radio listeners, and TV viewers could trust. Their sound was pure, lush vocal harmonies, soaring choruses, and arrangements that let the voices tell the whole story. One thing I love about Westlife is how their early songs felt immediate, like they were written for real people going through real things. Take If I Let You Go. That early single captures the anxious, fragile moment right after a relationship starts to wobble. There is a sincerity in the delivery that doesn't feel manufactured. It feels lived in. When you listen, you hear young men who understand heartbreak and who wants to offer comfort through music. If I let you go. Then there is Full Again. Man, that song is pure ache. One of those tracks where the lyric and melody hold hands and walk straight into your chest. You can hear the vulnerability in the voices. The kind of confession you make when you are certain you messed up, but you are still holding out hope. It became one of the songs that helped cement Westlife as not just a pop act, but as storytellers of feeling. Can't believe that I'm a fool again. In the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, and so many years to come, we'll still watch Westlife singing Full Again, and it will continue to feel new and fresh to us. That is Westlife for you. I want to pause here and say, don't underestimate the importance of ballads in the late 90s and early 2000s. They were the songs people used to mark important moments, the slow dances, the late night consolations, the folk calls in the dark. Westlife mastered that space. Songs like On Angel's Wings, a more tender, reflective track, added to these palace softer moments that reminded listeners the band could be gentle as well as powerful. Those quieter songs balance out these big stadium numbers and give fans reasons to come back for the emotional depth. One of the defining moves for Westlife was the ability to collaborate. A great example is their performance and recording with Diana Ross on When You Tell Me That You Love Me. That duo was more than a commercial move. It was a passing of a musical touch in some ways. Here, you heard the classic, timeless pop vocal tradition meeting the newer, polished boy band harmonies. It showed that Westlife weren't just youth phenomenon. They were part of a lineage of singers and songs that spans decades. When you tell me that you love me. Diana Ross made the song even appear more beautiful and more pleasing to the ear. Her voice added life to the song as well. If we frame their career, there are a few acts worth noticing. First, the early breakout years, the albums and singles that made them household names. Then, the challenges of success, lineup challenges, industry pressures, and the national burnout that comes from being in the spotlight for years. And finally, the comeback and longevity, reinventions, later career moments, and the ability to connect with new generations while honoring old fans. The arc is vital to understanding why their music still matters decades later. Now, let's underline some of their career-defining songs that you might already know but deserve a bit of unpacking. Flying Without Wings. This is the song that people often point to when they think of Westlife as their most iconic. It's simple in structure but massive in emotional playoff. The chorus is one of those universals. It talks about the small everyday things that turn out to be miraculous. Love, friendship, home. That universal theme is why it's played at weddings, graduations, and hospital rooms alike. It's a song that knows how to be big without being showy. Another one is You Raise Me Up. Their version brought the song to massive audiences who needed a lift. It's the kind of track that invites listeners to breathe a little easier, to find strength in someone else's presence. Westlife's arrangement leaned into the building intensity of the chorus, making it a go-to for listeners who want to feel moved, not just entertained. Let me talk briefly about their vocal style, because it matters. Westlife's sound is built on blend more than individual flash. There are lead moments, beautiful, soaring, but the real magic is when their voices come together. The harmonies are precise, and they are arranged in a way that always supports the lyrics. That's why their songs can be emotional without being melodramatic. The music acts as a container for the listener's feeling rather than trying to overwhelm them. And there is an authenticity to their storytelling. Whether it's the regrets in Full Again, the yearning in If I Let You Go, or the tender hope in On Angel's Wings, the songs read like short, emotional essays. They are crafted to be relatable, written in everyday language about everyday heartbreaks and triumphs. That's the secret sauce. Relatability wrapped in strong vocal performance. Now, I want to get a bit personal for a second. And you can use this line when you narrate it if it fits your voice. When I first heard If I Let You Go, I remember thinking, this is the kind of song my aunt would play when she wanted to feel seen. That's not a knock, it's the highest compliment. Songs that become part of people's real lives, their rituals, their slow evenings, their reflection time. That's the mark of music that lasts. Westlife wrote a lot of those songs. Of course, not everything was easy. Fame brought scrutiny, members changed, decisions were questioned, and the music industry itself evolved. But what's impressive is how Westlife navigated those shifts, taking breaks, regrouping, and sometimes returning with subtle changes in sound that respected their roots while acknowledging the new musical landscape. Their career is a lesson in resilience, not always glamorous, but honest. Let's take a moment to look at some deeper aspects of their songwriting and production. Westlife often worked with producers and songwriters who knew how to craft the emotional arc of a pop ballad. Quiet verses that build to cathartic choruses, small lyrical images that widen into big feelings. The production rarely overcomplicated things. It favored piano, strings, and clean guitar, choices that let the voices shine. I also want to mention their live presence. While studio recordings are polished, Westlife proved they could deliver live in ways that mattered. Their concerts were less about spectacle and more about creating intimate moments in big arenas. When the crowd sang back a chorus, it felt like a communal hug, and that's no small feat. Before we move to the wrap-up, let's name a couple more songs that are important to their story. My Love, a lush romantic ballad that's become a staple for fans. And Swear It Again, an early single that helped set the tone for their career. Both songs helped establish the band's identity and gave listeners those emotional landmarks we keep returning to. So what's the legacy here? Westlife showed that emotional honesty sells, not just for a reason, but across decades. They gave us songs for life's big moments and taught the generation how to listen when someone sings about love, loss, or hope. Their arc, formation, success, struggles, and reinvention reads like music history for people who grew up with the radio as a companion. To close, here is a short personal takeaway you can use as your sign-off. Westlife's music feels like a conversation between a singer and a listener. It's not always about showmanship or being the loudest voice in a room. It's about saying one honest thing in a way that lands where it matters. Their songs become part of our stories, and that's the real legacy. Thank you for watching this with me. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. Don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to be part of this family. I love you all. Thank you, and see you again in my next video.